Hi, I'm Jim Knotts, President and CEO of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund. Welcome to today's virtual reading of the names. 2022 marks the 40th anniversary of the dedication of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C. As part of our commemoration, we'll host an in-person reading of the names at the wall from November 7th through 10th, 2022, when all 58,281 names on the wall will be read aloud. In the lead up to that event, we'll be reading names each day online while sharing the photos of these heroes. For our daily virtual reading, the names of the service members will be read by month and day of death between the years 1956 and 1975 in alphabetical order for the given day. We apologize in advance for any mispronunciations. Know that our readers are doing their best to honor these service members. We hope you'll listen and watch each day and share with others as we remember and honor those who gave their lives during the Vietnam War.
Davy Merlin Adams, David E. Ali, Marshall Joseph Angel, Gerald Lee Baldwin, Alvaro Barbosa, Roger Allen Barnhart, Albert Frank Bast, Jr., Denny Albert Batty, Robert Leon Beltran, Dan Michael Bennett, James Walter Bishop, James Kenneth Brierly, Robert Carl Brix, Robert Maxwell Brown, Jr., Hal Wayne Burns, Louis Anthony Caracarte, Thomas Charles Cesar, Barry Edwin Clark, Gail Walter Croon, Richard Curtis, Kenneth Edward DeMore, Jr., Frederick George DeRoche, Harry Clinton Dorset, Thomas Allen Duckett, Jerry Norman Duffy, John Anthony Fidel, William Edward Flowers, Henry Harrison Ford, Jr., Bruce Ronald Franz, Stanley Carl Fuller, Gary Lee Gaynor, Arthur Terry Gallagher, Roy Allen Gebbard, Luther Green, Jr., Philip Bruce Hayward, Johnny Robert Holland, Charles Perry Hood, Jr., Bernard Palimpa Hoopy, Jr., Robert Allen Hughes, Lloyd Bruce Jensen, Douglas Bernard Kehoe, Ronald Keith Kelsey, Johnny King, Robert Charles Kugelman, Casimir Kulik, Joe Earl Liddell, Arlen Lorenz Lampert, Donald F. Lekovich,
Thomas Vincent Marchese, Richard Charles Marsh, Eugene Joseph Martin, Donald Arthur Martin, Michael Peter Martin, Jr., Billy Richard Martinez, Joseph Louis Mendoza, James Allen Merritt, Charles Bernard Moore, Clarence Larry Moorer, Bernard Joseph Morin, Jr., Stephen C. Mosley, Larry Allen Moss, Michael Thomas Murphy, Walter Edward Murphy, Jr., George Laxley Myers, Newman Ray Nesmith, Ted Peter Newra, Jr., Gerald Raymond Newbro, David Lee Norris, Michael Lewis Nottage, George Patrick O'Toole, Jr., Nia Warren Potter, James William Powell, Jr., Robert Joseph Quinn, Lloyd Stephen Rainey, Lawrence Gustav Ramuth, Kenneth Rhodes, Carlos Rivera, Jr., Anthony Cristo Civolino, Andrew Richard Sinchak, Jr., Owen George Skinner, Walter Leo Starling, Ronald Stephen Stepsy, George Ray Thompson, James Ray Van Cedarfield, Johnny Delbert Verscher, Willie C. Walker, William Carl Whitlatch, Jr., Ottaway Larson Williams, Michael Keith Woodcock, Ronnie Lewis Woodmansey.